Welcome to Table Talk Friday, your weekly dose of D&D banter between three men in a bedroom. If you like their style, come back every Friday for another upload. Now, back to the boys.
Okay, so Chase, as we were talking about right before the show started just now, Steam's got a new console coming out. Super excited about it. Console computer type deal. As I was telling you before I built my computer, I was very excited to jump in to make a computer because I was like, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put Linux on it and I'm gonna start messing around and doing all this stuff and making my own personal like little computer thing. Then I built this computer and found out that the 5070 doesn't work great with Linux. Now I have Windows and all that. And I was like, well, that whole idea went down the drain. And then Steam comes out and says, we're making a cube, a 6x6 cell phone size cube dimensions wise. And we're going to hand that to you and it's going to have Linux on it and it's going to have the game mode and it's going to be a perfect little gaming system. And I'm like, I should have just waited. I should have just waited.
I should have just saved money. I should have just been happier and I should have waited. Fuck.
And you know what? I love my AAA gaming PC. I love that I can open that thing up and it's going to run anything at like my 90 I like to cap things at 90 frames because it's pleasing to my eye. I don't need much more than that because I can't really tell the difference. But I can tell the difference between like 60 and more than 60. And so 90 at 2K, beautiful. Love seeing all my games at that resolution and frame rate. But the fact that they're beautiful and I love that. And by all means, better or a little bit worse than that, a little bit better than that, whatever you want to say. I'm excited for this machine, and I don't think it has a place in my life yet because I'm in a small apartment. I play most of my games here and on my TV out there. I would love to play my PC games on my TV out there. I have tried streaming the games from my PC to the TV out there, and it does okay. It really does. What I was thinking about doing as an alternative, once this thing got announced, I was like, I should get serious about this, is a $30 100-foot HDMI cable that I run out to there, and then I buy the Steam controller, and then I dongle it in to my PC to the living room, and I'm sure it'll reach through this one wall, right? Like, the controller will probably be fine through this one wall.
Yeah, just drill through it.
Not what I meant. And it'll be fine through this one wall. And then I can just do the same thing as the Steam Cube, but in there. Great idea, right? It's fine.
Perfect idea.
But what if I just bought the Cube anyways?
Okay, hold on.
and then I put it under the TV out there and I have two computers. I'm not going to do that probably.
I mean, that is something that I thought about because I have... I recently upgraded my GPU, and I was looking at doing the MACX or ITX stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, very D&D oriented, but I was looking at doing one of those two things, and then the RAM crash happened.
Roll20's on the computer.
I'm not going to do that. Roll20. Then the RAM crash happened. They delisted a bunch of bundles at Micro Center, so I'm not going to do any of that shit. Going back to the Steam conversation, I think I'll just be happy with just a controller. Because I already have the dock for the Steam Deck. The only thing stopping me from playing that is that sometimes I want mouse controls to like play Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. Sue me, I'm sorry. But like I don't want to have it handheld to do that. I would just rather like relax on that. But anyway, I'm so stoked for the controller. I'm stoked for the Cube. I hope they undercut Xbox so that people have some options instead of just having Xbox or PlayStation.
Yeah.
I think the headset is so fucking cool. The frame, to provide you a little bit of context, Drew, the frame is a
VR AR headset. Yeah,
it's a VR AR headset. But rather than like a direct cable link, they're using like AirLink, which they've been testing for years. But what they're doing is they're foveating the streaming. So depending on where you're looking, the resolution is better, and towards the outsides it blurs a little bit, which helps with encoding so that it's more responsive. And it also means the developer doesn't have to bother with it because they're doing it on the streaming side, not on the game side. So the devs don't have to like opt into it or anything. It's just going to be enabled.
Right. So
is this entirely VR or is this a general? When you say headset, is it just like
yeah? So it's a VR headset, kind of like the MetaQuest, but It's a Valve one. They've done VR in the past, except it's always been like theirs have always been super high tech. They've got like the cables running through. It costs $1,200 or whatever. It's always super.
It's outside inside tracking, so you got to put up these base stations in every corner of your room, and it's like
this one seems to be much more simple, like the MetaQuest. Now you remember, Drew, whenever I had the MetaQuest in our old apartment. And I would do the boxing game and I'd be sweating my ass off in the kitchen, just freaking doing the boxing. That game was a good way to work out for like, I would play it for like 30 minutes and I'd be like so tired. I'd be like, all right, I'm done. But that thing was very useful for getting some cardio in. And also there was just some fun games on it. This is very much the same, except Steam also has a wide library of VR things that you can do. I played Skyrim VR for I think I got like 20 hours out of that whenever
No Man's
I was
Sky's in VR.
No Man's Sky is in VR. You just made me think of that and now you've sold me.
You don't have to. No, I don't have to sell you on that. You could get another headset.
No, but I want this one.
I don't think it's going to upset the index market. Like I think people who love indexes are still going to love indexes for the dedicated stuff. They've already gone through the hassle of setting up the index, so I think they're going to keep it. But I mean, this has potential to upset a lot of people who are like the inside out tracking people.
Yeah, which is great. Go ahead.
Circling to the compatibility thing with the Steam, with the, I forget what, Gabe Cube. I forget what it's called.
It's the Steam. I was about to say Steam Deck, dude. I was about to go right into Steam Machine.
Steam Machine.
That's what it is.
The compatibility with
Steam Machine.
Dude, the Gabe Cube would have been so good. I mean, obviously they can't do that, but I also thought the Orange Box. You know,
that feels like a deep cut. I don't know.
Steam did the Orange Box back in the day. Do you remember that, Drew?
I know.
I do not. I absolutely do not.
Orange Box was a 3-pack of games that you could get all in one. I had it on my Xbox at the time. Was it 4?
Half-Life
Was it 4?
Portal?
It was Half-Life 2, Part 1 and 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2, right?
Yes.
That's fun. Good, a couple games.
Yeah. Orange Box would have been a deep cut. Like it's not that deep of a cut for people who have been playing games for 20 years. But I think the general market would have just right over their heads. But talking about the compatibility thing, since a big market is going to be whether or not people are going to leave the more traditional consoles of Xbox and PlayStation, especially for the Battlefields, for the Call of Duties, for the stuff with anti-cheat, currently battles with Linux a little bit. So with compatibility in mind, the Steam Frame, which is the headset, which I'm so confused about, but it's so exciting, is that it's based on an ARM chip, which is what phones use. So they've convinced a phone chip to run Linux and then through a compatibility layer run Windows. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing anymore?
It's very funny because they run it through Proton, right? It goes from the ARM chip to Linux through Proton to Windows. And it's like all these layers and it somehow works flawlessly.
That's what they were playing Hades too. I was like, what do you mean you're playing Hades on a phone? What are you talking about? What are we doing here? But sure enough, it was working. And I was like, I guess we are. So if there is a world where it can happen, it's this one. Apparently they've got serious, they've been contributing a lot. I forget if I think there's a GitHub out there that of this compatibility layer for ARM chips to work with Linux that they've been contributing pretty heavily to.
So this brings me into a question, Drew. As our representative normie who doesn't pay attention to gaming news every day, like Chase and I end up doing, I would like to know. So you're an Xbox gamer. I don't know if you've heard the news lately where they're basically moving to the premium console race, where they're doing like a super expensive, basically PC Xbox for the next generation that they were talking about. It's not going to be super affordable. I'm wondering if there is a world whenever you are going to see this next thing that comes out and you could be convinced, you know what? I'm just going to A, build a computer, or I'm going to B, pick up this Steam Cube thing, or C, buy a PlayStation. What are you thinking for the next generation of gaming? And then we'll get into our topic for the day for D&D.
Okay, so first off, just going to take a step back here. I just want to make the reference as far as D&D goes. I got like a 12, maybe a 13 intelligence. Feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah.
But Chase joins the podcast and immediately goes to like a 15, and I don't have the ability to multi-class anymore. And so you guys are like, I'm like, you're talking about VR, and I'm thinking that time I basically pissed myself when Foxy charged us in
That was
Five
so
Nights at Freddy's.
funny.
That was so good. Oh my god. But anyway, the future of gaming. Yes, let me give my very high level understanding of future gaming. I'm an old man.
Okay.
I like to sit on the couch or stand in front of my TV like an old man and play my console games. Usually the same 2 games for several years in a row.
Yep.
They would have to really destroy the image of the general consoles for now to make me swap. The idea of swapping to something else and going outside of my comfort zone when gaming for me is just kind of a casual, relax, release of stress kind of stuff. That sounds like a whole lot to have to learn keyboard or swap over to that. I'm good. I'm okay. I just need, as long as this Xbox is not $2,000, I will get this Xbox, and then that buys me 8 to 10 more years before the next one comes out.
Easily 5 of Dead by Daylight, and then there's going to be something else or Hunt Showdown. I mean, that was you had answered my follow-up question to that, was to be like, is there a world where they just say, all right, $900, and then you go, looks like I got to get a new hobby. But
so, I mean,
Hunt Showdown's still gonna work on your Xbox now for a long time.
Yeah,
but see, I'm 35 prestiges in now though, so I mean, I'm gonna max out eventually. So it's like, will I max out before the new console comes out? I don't know, but I am excited to see it. I haven't seen any pictures. I don't know if there are pictures or drafts or like a blueprint or something. I don't know.
There's only what Sarah Bond has said.
Oh yeah, I love her. I know her. She's good friends.
Sarah Bond's vice president, I think, of Xbox America. I think, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes, and everyone's got like a different price range. I mean, I'm not a big hobby guy. I don't have expensive hobbies. The Xbox would have to be pretty expensive for me not to get it. If you told me the Xbox was going to be $800, I'm buying the Xbox. To be fair, like you buy it and it's like $100 a year. I mean, why not? It was 8 to 10 years before the new one comes out. What do
Usually
I care?
It's a 7-year console cycle is kind of normal, but I hope this one goes longer because given that I haven't gotten a whole lot of use out of my consoles I would have liked to this generation.
I don't think I started right off the bat. I think I waited like a year.
You did. You waited a little bit.
I got pretty good use. Oh, that's right, because the whole chip thing at the time. That's right. We were fighting for Xboxes for a while. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Xboxes and PlayStations. Remember, I would sit there at my office job at the time, and I would refresh the page, and every time that I would see Wario64 would post some stuff on like Twitter or something. I'd get a notification on my phone, and I go, "Oh my god, PlayStations!" And I would shoot over the stage and wait until eventually one day I got it. I almost bought Zach one that day too, because I had the opportunity to buy 2, and I was like, "What if I just bought one and put it on Zach's doorstep?"
Well, you could have had it at any time, because remember at the time I did work. One of my coworkers was a scalper and had like 5 PlayStations.
I remember that.
It was terrible.
Hey, you want to buy a PlayStation for $700?
I'm sure it was a lot more than $700.
Yeah. Well, but now that's not unrealistic because the price has only gone up over the years.
Maybe if I want to get back into the market for fighting for a hobby, maybe I'll just get into Pokemon. I've seen these videos of people fighting over Pokemon cards at Costco's. Maybe I'll just show up with boxing gloves ready to go. Like that's the thing. I'm not even about the cards. I just want to fight my way in and out.
Dude, there's got to be a world where that's happening with consoles, but I saw a video recently where they were buying like entire stands of like Pokemon cards because the manager who worked at the Walmart was like selling it to his friend basically. So the whole like display of Pokemon cards they were selling to one person, and then people filmed it on their phones.
That's terrible. I don't even think, is that legal to hold the whole stock for a person?
I don't think it's illegal.
It's
but
definitely unethical.
It's unethical for sure. Which, something I was thinking about as far as unethical goes is survival mechanics in Dungeons and
you could have set building ethics into the world space that we play.
No. It's unethical, I think, to put heavy-duty survival mechanics into Dungeons and Dragons. I'm kidding. If you like survival mechanics in your Dungeons and Dragons games, that's awesome. Now, for our topic today, we're talking about kind of immersing ourselves in the D&D fantasy world and how far we go with that, as far as how far is like too far with with these mechanics. Now, guys, I'm just gonna ask you a simple question now. What immersive survival mechanics do we use in our games?
Oh wow, there's just such a broad array of them. So many tools in our arsenal that we use
Speaking,
every day.
we speak to each other.
We do. People do speak in survival situations, I
Sleeping.
think.
Long rest.
That is true.
Sleeping.
That is true. That is
Sleeping.
true.
Sometimes we track rations. Sometimes.
There you go. There you go. There
Every
you go.
now
We're
and
getting somewhere.
So actually, that's something I want to say on this topic. Is one, yeah, we don't use very many survival mechanics, right? We don't get super immersive as far as this goes. As far as I'm concerned, we play a high fantasy game. It is extremely fantastical. We don't go to the bathroom in the game. We don't often track what we eat or drink or whatever, unless the scenario calls for it. And there have been times whenever you guys have been stranded in one way or another, and I've said, okay, let's keep track of what you have on you. What would you realistically have on you right now? We all talk about it. We set the standard and we go, okay, this is what you have on you. We need to figure out a solution to this before you run out. That's happened a couple of times in the past.
Mhm.
And personally, I find this to be very fun because it adds something new into the game for a limited time. While it does up the difficulty or does make it a little more like risky, it adds like a limited time mechanic that then is going to get relaxed again. It makes it spontaneous and interactive when we're there. As opposed to 24/7, we're keeping track of how tired the character might be or how hungry they might be, etc., etc.
Yeah, we don't use it a whole lot. I would like to use some things like that, but I don't know where the line is at our table for, like, when do we want to jump into that? Taking a step back, when I think of these survival types of games, right, I hear about people playing in these crazy desert settings where they got no food and they're fighting for water, or like, very Mad Max style, like where they're all in cars and shooting at each other and stuff, which sounds super cool, and I'd love to do something like that, but we really don't do that kind of stuff. You were talking about kind of having stock or knowing what you have and working through it. I think what we do the most in our games in general would be kind of keeping a general stock of your inventory before we step into usually a thievery type of situation, right? You're going into a thick city where it's dense, you're kind of shoulder to shoulder with people walking through crowds, and there's that one little freaking kid who's got his hand in your pocket stealing your doubloons kind of stuff, That, to me, that's normally where at our table keeping stock is sort of the ideal situation, right? But we don't use a whole lot more than that as far as inventory goes anyway.
Yeah. I think thematically, to go back to what you said, Seth, thematically we've done it for Out of the Abyss.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I have 4 rations on me. Cool. I have to look for food. Okay, cool. But when there's a thematic drive to it to be like, oh, you don't have your holy symbol, or you don't have any spell components, and to like bushcraft your way into a holy symbol, or to like pick apart little, just be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to be searching for a spell I think thematically, when there's a thematic reason for it, the payoff is great. But if you're just doing it all the time, it's like, I don't know. It feels like, no, let's not get crazy. I have played in some games where it's just like, oh yeah, you're there. We're going to go to this thing that's a day's travel. You're there.
Mhm.
And so I do appreciate some level of that, especially as we are in Spelljammer, to be like, this is a travel that is happening. It gets a little timey-wimey with like, there are 2 long rests between this, or 3 long rests. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
But I definitely think kind of the best way to do that from what we've experienced as a table is to have some sort of thematic payoff for doing it, so that you're not just keeping track of stuff just for the sake of keeping track of stuff.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, when I'm not even just at tabletop games, when I am playing an RPG or something, I don't like tracking that stuff either. Like whenever I'm playing, I was thinking of something with Skyrim. Oh, encumbering. Oh my God. There's encumbering mechanics in the player's handbook for like how to do it. If any DM ever puts encumbering on me, I'm going to go, huh? What? Because I hate the idea of it. When I'm just trying to pick up stuff in Skyrim because they hand you a bunch of stuff that you just want to go back to town and sell, when I'm picking stuff up and I don't have the time to manage it, I'm standing in the middle of the dungeon, and I know I'm just going to need to inventory manage this later, but it's not the time for that. And it says, you're over encumbered. I go, are you kidding me? I have to manage it right now. I have to open up my menu and do inventory management before I go into the next room and fight the Draugrs. Are you kidding me? I hate it. And so I love it in games like in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and stuff, where it just puts all the stuff in the menu and says, do it when you feel like it. And you've got a giant list of all the things you're carrying. And I just go, all right, I'll handle that when I feel like it. And because I'm the kind of person who likes to go through, especially on a character sheet or something, and look at all the things and put them in the order that I like them to be in. I do like managing inventories and stuff like that. And so encumbering and things like that, I'm glad that they exist, and I'll never touch it.
I think there's a suspension of disbelief there, but I think we naturally kind of exist in this space of like, oh, you have a greatsword on you. I'm going to loot this other greatsword. It's like, okay, well, you can't have 3 greatswords. So like you're at 2, and that kind of all makes sense for you to have 2 because you just picked up a new one. But usually we kind of it naturally works out to a point where we're not carrying 4 rapiers or 3 greatswords.
Yeah,
or
fair.
Like it just naturally does that. But I do agree, like there were times in Baldur's Gate when it was like, oh, 4,000 gold weighs 600 pounds. And I'm like, I mean, objectively, yeah, it would, but this item costs 3,000 gold, so I need that gold on me. But also the other end of that, where it was like, oh yeah, Karlach has 12 greatswords, and you're like, no, she doesn't. She doesn't have that. I'm sorry.
Or playing a giant
barbarian.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you brought up a good point. I was about to take a step back, and I'm curious to ask you guys a question about encumbrance in a second. But I can't stand the idea of encumbrance, and I would never want to play at a table with that. But you brought up a great point, Chase, where you do need to know how much money you have, which obviously everyone's going to track that. But there have been situations where we have used encumbrance, where specifically I think when Seth was running Storm Kings, and we were slaying dragons, and in the heat of combat, we're trying to scoop up some gold. And you absolutely made it a point. It's like, well, with your turn, you can gather this much gold. Or, if you spend 3 turns, you can't hold more than 3 turns worth of gold collections, right? I actually I hadn't even thought about that as a good, I guess, survival use in our game. But we do. Very infrequently, but we do.
And what's good about that is if you say, hey, there's 1 billion gold in the room, it keeps someone from going, oh, I just collect it all. I just collect the 1 billion gold. And okay, well, excuse me, sir, what do you do with the 1 billion gold? Where does it go? It doesn't go in your gold. It doesn't go in your gold account.
Didn't we do something very similar in Avernus? Sorry, the extension of Avernus with the red dragon. Didn't we teleport magic circle a shit ton of gold to someone's living room and collapse their floor?
You guys did teleport it. I don't remember where you teleported it specifically, but you did. I did allow you to cast teleportation circle to teleport it to another one.
It was in El Terrell. It was the person who made tea.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Wabble?
Wabble. It was Wabble.
Yeah,
that was
Wabble's
his name.
right.
I made that up on the spot, huh?
He was a gnome. Wabble sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. You're right. We have used that.
Encumbrance. I want to know, Seth, would you, yes or no, you can elaborate if you'd like, yes or no, would you play in a D&D game at a table where the DM was enforcing encumbrance?
Okay, but so this has a wide array of answers because it's a really good question, lots of answers. Yes and no, because I would play at the table if the DM is handcrafting this beautiful story that I'm really into. I would deal with encumbrance, right? If he was like, now the problem would be is if we're doing this and every time I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna go over and loot his body, and he's like, okay, he's got these 3 things on him, and I go, okay, I'll take the dagger off of him. I could probably use that later. And he goes, okay, well, how much does the dagger weigh? And if he did that to me every time I go to pick something up, how much do you weigh right now? And if he did that every single time, I'd be like, and I say if they did this every single time, I'd be like, does it matter? It weighs less than a pound. I can carry the dagger, I promise. So if it's that far, no, I'd probably drop out of that game. But if it's just every couple of sessions, he's like, okay, what? Everybody take stock of the things that you're carrying. and think about things that maybe you wouldn't be able to carry that would maybe weigh too much over this long period of time. Because realistically, a lot of our adventurers are fighting with backpacks full of heavy stuff on them. And I, as a man who was previously in the army, have rucked. And it's not easy to move around with a backpack that even weighs 20 pounds on your back. It's not easy to move around and fight dragons, much less survive.
But I'm a monk, Seth. I can run up this wall easy with 50 pounds of backpack on me.
Absolutely, I believe you. So, yeah, I'd play in that game, but not forever.
It does feel like it lends itself, if you're not careful, to the same thing that we were encountering with, like, well, how's he looking?
Yeah. I did
Like,
have
if you're
the
not
intervention
careful,
with
like,
that.
It
That's
feels
right.
It feels like we're really good about it. It pops up once or twice, but like it's never out of malice because of how infrequently it pops up. But like,
Well,
it
you were
feels like
part
if
of the
you're
game
not-
whenever it was a problem.
Yes, yeah. But it feels like if you're not careful, and I think that's kind of just the kind of general feeling of this conversation is like setting expectations. Because if you're not careful, it can get in the way, like way easier than most things.
Yeah.
And it starts to pull away from telling a story and more of playing the mechanics, which is like it's fine. It's that's both sides of the tabletop role playing game. But yeah, I think if you're not careful, it has potential to really snowball out of control. To like you were saying, like, oh, how much does the dagger weigh? And it's like, really, we're doing this right now? We're stopping the flow of the table to ask how much this half pound, quarter pound thing weighs.
Yeah. That is a big thing when it comes to that is nitpicking it to pieces like that. You had said something right before that, and I had a thought, and then my brain erased said thought.
Was it me that said it or Drew?
You should have taken stock.
Yeah, no, I really should have.
Taken stock?
I should take a stock. You know who always takes stock every time? Every time I look at his character sheet, he has everything perfectly written down in order, down to the percentage, the 0.00 percentage point, the 100th place of the percentage point. And that's good old gamer over on patreon.com/Table Talk Friday. Good old gamer has the percentage point of every single item down, of how much it weighs and everything. So that way, before you've asked the question, he already has presented to you how much his pack weighs. So you never even have to worry about him in any kind of game you play. Good old gamer, thanks for supporting us on patreon.com/Table Talk Friday. Back to the show.
That was a pretty good segue. That wasn't
Thank you.
The Paul Blart thing that happened earlier. That was a good segue right there.
So another type of survival mechanic that I want to talk about is weather, because we don't often have weather come up as a complication often, which it really would be in these adventuring scenarios. Say, like, if we are going to be trekking for weeks on end across the Sword Coast, you would expect it to rain on one of those days. And I don't know about you guys, but if you ever walked out in the rain, you all of a sudden want to stop walking. And I'm wondering if maybe we should include those in games that come up, because I haven't used a weather mechanically in a very long time. I'll describe it, right? I'll be like, oh yeah, on this day before you guys take your rest, a storm rolls in and you only make half progress, and I'll say it, but those words don't really mean anything in the grand context of what we're doing. They're just kind of fluff to get to the next point. So what do you guys think about weather mechanics?
I think there's room for them. The bare bones, like you were saying, I think it should be tossed in for flavor, right? Bare bones, make sure there is some sort of sandstorm going on, or there's some heavy rains that are kind of clouding your vision as you push forward through the forest, right? I think it's important just for the cinematic of the story. It makes you feel immersed, right? It makes you feel like you're living in a real world where things are actually going on. It's not just you going from point A to B. Also, like the idea of using these weather systems, the actual mechanics, to do stuff with them. It's just difficult, right? It's not Pokemon where every time you go up to someone, it's like, oh, it's a sunny day and the fire types are, which maybe that would be cool. I don't know. But I'd like to see more mechanics in place for it. I'm not aware of anything in the handbook of like, oh, if it's raining, you have to walk slower or you have to eat more. Maybe there are those things, but I'm just not aware of them. And frankly, I think it's difficult to kind of sprinkle them in.
Yeah, it's a little tooltip that goes, it's sunny out, you need to drink more. You're like, oh, okay, thanks. For what it's worth, I'm way more open to them than encumbrance.
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and it doesn't quite fit for what we're doing actively in this moment in Spelljammer. With the whole spell jamming part of that, it's raining in that orb over there. Like, okay, I'm just not gonna go over there then, I guess. But I think
love
it
that
lends.
though.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, it's raining over on that rock. Well, we're not going to that rock, so I guess it'll
Yeah,
stay
it's fine.
raining
It's
over
fine.
there.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think it could be really fun. Now, the severity of the mechanics, I think is interesting to play with. Like, I think about like, oh, it's snowing, and you're like, okay, it's snowing, half movement or 3/4 movement or whatever. I think it's fine. I think once you get to like, oh, it's snowing, so you're cold, and you're like, oh, and you're like, yeah, you didn't buy the right clothes for this, and you're like, wait, well, hold on, wait a minute. I think then it gets to a point where you're like, I think that lends itself really well for like live play, or like
Yeah.
these where we spend like 40 sessions going from level 5 to level 8. But I think if you're the type of storytelling that we do, it doesn't come up as much. But I'm open to it. I think
Yeah.
thematically it could help as well for like recollection to be like, oh, where did we find out this information? Just to have another thing to associate the town with. Like the last time we were in that town, it was raining, and like I think for like retrospection it could help. But yeah, it just doesn't come up a whole ton.
I think the spots where it becomes fun is in places like when you're on a boat at sea and you have a stormy day at sea and it's a skill check. I think those are times when it's really fun. Or I think I used a blizzard one time during combat during Storm King's Thunder to like mask where winter wolves were, and then there was a frost giant everlasting one that approached the party. And so I used that at one point in order to like make it like, okay, you guys can see out to this far because there's a blizzard going on. Oh no, and I did that in Avernus whenever that you guys were fighting the ice dragon on the ice layers. Did you? I think it was.
Oh god, he kicked our butt.
Yeah, and so I remember I had him blending into the storm. You guys only had like 30 feet of visibility because it was snowing so hard. So I think those kinds of things that make it mechanically interesting can be really fun in one-off scenarios. So I guess, having this conversation, I'm realizing that we do use some of these more often than I thought.
Yeah,
Eyes are being opened.
Yeah, honestly, that's how I feel about it. I'm like, I didn't realize that I was using these every now and then. I thought, yeah, we don't use any survival mechanics. We don't really play those kinds of games. But there are times when I've used it as a DM. It's opening my eyes.
From now on, I'm only running weather combat. You will never fight another person. You're just trudging through rain. It's just horrendous hailstorms. No more regular combat.
You're just fighting off disease as it's like it's raining for the 13th day in a row. And
So I feel like our mechanics conversation is kind of ending, and I had something I thought of that I wanted to bring up, which is on the complete 180 other side. How do you guys feel whenever one of us, especially when it comes to these one-offs and stuff we've been doing, when we just play the craziest, most impractical thing possible? Because we've had some one-offs lately where we've created characters, and it's been like, I didn't know that was allowed. Where recently Sean played a gelatinous cube, and then we have the Christmas one-off coming up, and a lot of us are pitching our ideas for our characters because usually we'll kind of make them extremely creative. Now, I'll go ahead and spill a little beans on what I want to do. Is I want to play a stuffed animal this year. I really want to play a stuffed animal.
Okay.
And I texted you about it, Drew. I don't know if you ever saw it.
I did not.
Okay, so my idea before, because I followed it up with another text, and I think you only read the bottom one because you didn't respond.
Oh, yes,
you didn't
yes,
respond.
yes.
I'm gonna call you out right here. You didn't respond to that one, but you responded to the next text. So I would really like to play one of those carnival like Sonic the Hedgehog thing, like anytime you go to like Cedar Fair, like anytime you go to an amusement park and they're hanging up and it's like a life-size Sonic the Hedgehog that's standing there. If you played the game perfect, or like you throw the ring and you get all three on the thing, you can win a giant stuffed animal. I'd like to play that. But like in a Toy Story way, where you're a toy come to life. I'm like a stuffed Sonic or stuffed Shadow or stuffed Amy Rose. And yeah,
not the government name.
And my idea was to play it as like a monk, and
naturally,
and make sure that I have cunning action plus monk movement, and so I can always be every turn, no matter what, I bonus action dash, like every turn.
kind of like the idea of you playing, because obviously you're playing this plushy toy, right? Which is not, I asked, but I like the idea of you playing like an elephant or like something you wouldn't expect to be extra fast, right? Like a stuffed turtle, and you're just zooming around the battlefield. Like what the like what's
No,
happening?
this is my excuse to actually play Sonic the Hedgehog in the game.
I'm into it. No, that'll be good. We have, I think that's the third idea that has been tossed my way of different people. It's gonna be really fun. But to your point of survival, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love the idea of just tossing it out the window. Like, yeah, you're a stuffed animal. That's fine. You have to eat. I don't care. Can you carry 600-pound stuff? Sure, you're a stuffed animal. Why not? It's Christmas. You have extra Christmas strength.
It definitely works better in the context of a one-off and not a full-on campaign that we're telling a compelling story. But for these like one-offs and stuff, I love the idea of throwing everything out the window and going, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It is an interesting intersection because one of the first, I think it was the second Christmas one-off we did. Sean was a tree.
Yep, he was a Christmas tree.
That was the second one because we were bad.
Maybe
Or was that the first
one?
That was the first one because we were bad, and the second one we saved it. Yeah, the first one he was a tree.
Yeah,
like no flavor, no like tree ant, no flavor. He was a pine tree, which is canon. On the first time that we played this, a pine tree was amongst the group of people who canceled Christmas.
Yeah, he was a pine tree rogue, wasn't he?
Yeah, a Psy warrior, Psy knife rogue.
It was like the phantom thing or whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Like Shadowblade or something. They throw knives.
Which now we're at what? Like this will be the sixth one.
This will be five.
Five.
This will be five.
Okay.
I gotta rerun through my notes, but I think it's 5.
We're no longer at one-off territory. We're at 5 one-offs altogether, and in those 5 one-offs, there have been a gigantic gingerbread man.
That's true.
A tree that shoots people.
The Green Goblin. I played Jack of Lantern, and he was the green. He was the Green Goblin, except with the Jack o' Lantern for a head.
The Whoville girl with her.
Oh yeah, Cindy Lou Who. Cindy Lou Who was there.
That's so good.
But yeah,
Coca-Cola Polar Bear.
Coca-Cola Polar Bear. Jack Lumber.
Jack Lumber. Yeah, he was a lumberjack.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then I was a toy snowman already. Yeah. So we've had some good times.
It was slushy. It was slushy. It was spelled in letters.
It definitely was slushy.
That's right.
But I think because even with the 5 that we're doing, this will be year 5 of doing the Christmas one-off. I love it too because the implications are so loose. Like, and it also extends its way into the setting that we're in. Like, oh, we're in a graveyard where the entire graveyard is alive and is a monster that eats the bodies that are buried. And you're like, oh, literally anything can happen here.
Yeah.
Anything.
Like literally anything can happen. It's not out of this world to be like, oh, I'm a bugbear, but I'm going to flavor it as something else. But yeah, the gelatinous cube. I was on board. Weirdly enough, I was on board with the gelatinous cube, and then he cast. I forget what he cast, and started moving at like fucking.
Charlotte Stride. He cast a Charlotte Stride, and freaking slid all over the place. And then I teleported one of the enemies into him, like with vortex warp. All of that was so funny and so crazy and creative, and it was broken. It was broken. It shouldn't happen again.
I think, yeah. Well, it's dangerous because Sean's going to be the one to do it.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be the one to push the boundary and be like, okay, well, can I be a tree? And you're like, yeah, I guess you could be a tree. And it just also so happens that he's a min-maxer. And so you're like, oh no, I've given a tree the ability to sneak infinitely, and he's going to deal 60 damage a round, or 60 damage per attack, and he gets 3 attacks somehow.
Soul Knife, that was the name of it.
Soul Knife.
That's it. It took me forever. I was sitting here thinking the whole time, what was it called?
Yeah. I knew it was Soul something. Is Psy Warrior the fighter?
Yeah, Psy Warrior's the fighter.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I love the gelatinous cube. I'm trying to think of any wild ones. Last Christmas one was wild. We had like 8 people playing.
Yes, I think it was 7 or 8.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be similar. And that was all remote too. At least some of us will be in person this time, because all remote was tough. It was rough having that many people remote. But I think most of us will be able to come in person. Maybe not Sean and Sean's wife Eric.
Yes.
I mean, I'm cool with that as long as we get some people in person. And me and Seth were talking, I think, a little bit in the last post show where I had mentioned this is going to. I always say it every year, but this is going to be the year that we actually finish in a reasonable amount of time. It's not like 2 a.m. when the game ends.
No way.
And since we've talked about, you believe in me, Chase, believe in me. And since we've talked about this episode already with the weather, unfortunately, the whole encounter is you guys are just fighting the snow. And if you get through the snow, you win, and Christmas is a thing.
Hey, as long as it's dimly lit when it's snowing, I'll be right there.
For
you
one,
get it.
oh my god,
No,
Dry
I'm
had
not
the
gonna try
best
to tell it quite
idea
again.
for a Christmas one-off theme that I want you to do one year. So I don't know if you have anything like this planned for this year, but in the future, so for a good themed Christmas one-off, or even it could be an evil one too. It could be either. I love the idea of actually delivering presents. Like, we're out on Christmas and someone's stopping us, or our goal is to stop someone from delivering presents at houses. I think that sounds like a really fun idea. Because you said fighting through the snow, and I was like, what if one of the things was we're all on a sleigh and we are in charge of presents this year because something happened, like Santa caught a cold or something, you know?
Santa caught a cold.
Yeah, Santa caught a cold, and we have to go deliver the presents for him. And so we're going to all of these houses and, you know, say there's 2 or 3 encounters because, okay, you made it all the way, you delivered to every house in Africa, now you're going to go over to Asia and you pull up on this one place and something happens. A samurai attacks you. You know?
Like a super high security house. There's no chimney. How do you get in? You got to figure it out.
Yeah, I think it's a
That'd
good
be
theme,
so
good
funny.
or bad, because you could be someone stopping the sleigh, or you can be someone you can be the people who stop Santa, and then the next year you're the people who take over for Santa.
Our adversary in that session is just the fact that the houses are built differently, and so they don't have chimneys. And we're like, oh no, our westernized culture. How do we do anything?
What if we do back-to-backs, like we do a West Marches type deal, and over the course of 2 or 3 days in real life,
Eat it.
we do stop the sleigh, continue delivering, and then we fight ourselves.
And so far, what you've been doing is just completely undoing everything you're doing the previous year.
And
This
it
is
always
the
feels
only year where I think you're going to be good twice in a row, and you might actually make some progress in bettering the world in Christmas.
And I'm
we'll
always
see.
down for it too. I'm always like, let's fucking ruin Christmas. Let's get this holiday sucks. And then the next year I'm like, oh, I really just want Christmas to happen this time. I'm always fully bought in.
It's funny having like evil Christmas. It's much harder to do, but I think back to where even we've had good sessions, but so far, I mean, Buddy the Elf is dead, Blitzen's dead, Santa's dead. Like, I mean, there's iconic staples in Christmas lore that are deceased.
But they've been taken over by other people by this point.
Makeup Charlie.
Yeah. Makeup Charlie is the new Santa.
Dude, did Makeup Charlie make a return?
I think he
Or
did.
something.
I think he did.
He was around in the last one because when you were in the, oh gosh, you were in the
It was like
hideout. I can't remember
it was like a council, right? It was the lords, the leaping lords.
The Leaping Lords.
Yeah.
You were in the hideout of the Ye Merry Gentlemen.
Oh,
Rebellion, and you heard the chains rattling, and he was
right.
making the toys.
One of my favorite, I think probably maybe top 5, maybe top 3 Patrick characters, Makeup Charlie. Because just fucking chain jingling noise that he just piped in on his phone anytime and you couldn't hear him at all. It was just like, and, that, and when he was pirate, he had some pirate voice, but he just would just be like,
I think it was
"Arr."
like Captain Cordelia or something like that. And
Yeah.
she would just be in the middle of a sentence. She'd be like, "Okay, guys, how you doing, yo ho?" And it would be every single time he cracked that joke, I would either laugh or at least just really big smile.
And then he would forget to do it, and he would stockpile 2 or 3 and say them all in rapid succession to make up for it.
Yo ho, shiver me timbers. You know,
God, this Makeup Charlie.
Oh yeah, those were always the best when he has the character that does that. And then there was the one time he played like a sorority girl, and
Oh, no.
she was insufferable. I don't even remember her name, but it was It was so
we were like
funny.
trying to stealth into something, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was for, but
I
it
don't
was the
remember.
funniest thing. Well, speaking of the, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna toss in one more icon that I could think of because we're just rambled down Pat's best characters. I always think back to Blaze Birch.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking of. That was her. It was Blaze Birch.
Oh, that's so funny. And he was it a floating club, a talking floating club?
Yeah,
Yes.
and she
Oh,
spoke back
was
to
that-
him.
Was that Sean? I feel like that was.
It was
that
for one of
Sean's
Sean's thing. He ran like a 6 off, or like a 3 off, or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Really
Blaze Birch. For
Blaze
the
Birch.
listeners at home, it had 5 A's in it.
Yeah.
It was
phonetically.
I think I backloaded. It's frontlets. It's Blaze.
Yeah, it was phonetically written with that long ass vowel.
Oh god.
To hear more about our favorite characters, you can find us over on patreon.com/tabletalkfriday, where we're going to do a post show that we record right after the main show. So you'll catch me, Drew, and Chase there talking about, I don't know, whatever bullshit we talk about after the show this time. Because we have our session of the week in 53 minutes from now, which is going to be extremely exciting. Maybe we'll chat about that a bit. So yeah, go on over to patreon.com/tabletalkfriday and support the boys. But until then, I'm gonna need Blaze Birch's cousin, Amelia Air Birch, to
cut
take
it.
me out.
Yeah, Blaze
To
Birch's
take
cousin, Amelia Air Birch.
me, Amelia Air Birch. Please take me out, Drew.
What am I supposed to do with Amelia Blaze Birch?
You don't
with
even know
that.
your own name. Go ahead.
It's me, Amelia Blaze Birch, and I'm flying a plane. Oh no, I'm crossing the ocean.